Good morning, everyone. Welcome, and thank you for joining today's webinar, Award-Winning Intranets, the most creative, clever, and inspiring ThoughtFarmer intranets this year. I see we have attendees joining from all over the world, which is great to see. I'm located in Vancouver, Canada, where we have officially welcomed fall. So wherever you are, I hope it's drier than it is here. We'll get started shortly, but while we wait for others to join, we have a poll that is a great segue into today's topic. You should see a pop-up on your screen, and we'd love if you could let us know how inspiring your intranet is. Is it next level inspiring like the companies that we're going to be showcasing today? Is it a little inspiring? Does it leave a lot to be desired, or is it just plain uninspiring? Please record your answers, and we'll close the poll in another minute or so, but we'd love to know your thoughts on that. I see lots of people trickling in. So if you just joined, welcome. Again, we will be getting started shortly, but please respond to the poll question on the screen. We'll close it another minute or so, and we'll have a look at the results. Wow. Very interesting. So just another 30 seconds or so left before we close the poll. Great. Wow, so the majority of respondents either have an intranet that leaves a lot to be desired or is uninspiring, which makes today's webinar particularly timely. We really hope that you walk away with some actionable takeaways that you can apply immediately to make your intranet more inspiring. And with that, let's get started. So my name is Christy Cuttaford, and I'm the marketing manager here at ThoughtFarmer. And I'm joined today by our incredible Director of Customer Success, Caroline, who will be showcasing some of our customers' award-winning intranets, and will also be providing best practices for creating an intranet that inspires and engages your people. If there's anything you'd like to ask our team, please go ahead and stick it in the chat, and we'll answer your questions at the end during our Q&A. We will be recording today's session, so if you'd like to rewatch it at a later time or share it with anyone in your organization, you will be able to do that. Today's webinar is related to our most recent white paper, 10 award-winning ThoughtFarmer intranets. If you haven't had a chance to download it yet, not to worry. We will be including a link in our follow-up email along with the webinar recording. So we've kept today's agenda pretty tight. We're going to kick things off today with a brief overview of ThoughtFarmer and how we help our customers connect, communicate, and engage with their people. We'll then meet the companies with award-winning intranets and provide best practices for an inspiring intranet. So you can hopefully make the list next year. And we'll wrap things up with Q&A. If if we do run out of time and we're not able to address your question, we will make sure to follow up with you to address your question in an email following the webinar. So ThoughtFarmer was founded on a simple principle to make work better. And we do this by providing a platform that really functions as the heart of your workplace and enables your employees to be productive, informed, and engaged. Now, employees today are a mixture of hybrid, in-person, and remote workers. With that said, they all require the same thing: a centralized location to collaborate, communicate, and share ideas. So most people on this call will have an intranet already or are researching intranets, but I think it bears importance to briefly mention why every business should have an intranet. An intranet really improves findability of information. It can break down departmental silos to encourage collaboration across the business. It can improve communication regardless of geographic location, which has obviously become even more important this last year. And it can improve employee engagement and enhance productivity through system integrations. But also I also think it's really important that it increases transparency and builds trust across the organization, because you're really able to share company-wide news and information, so employees feel a part of the process. So ThoughtFarmer is probably a bit different from the intranet you might be accustomed with. ThoughtFarmer enables anyone to design and build an intranet that matches your brand with no specialized skill. It's so easy to use that many of the companies with award-winning intranets that we're going to be showcasing today actually built their intranets in-house without the use of a designer or developer. You can also create great content and keep it organized and relevant with easy authoring tools, excellent search function, and a meaningful information architecture. You can run business processes with easy to use drag and drop forms and workflows, and you can communicate to all staff with confidence by having an up-to-date and relevant news feed. And you can measure the effectiveness of content with in-app analytics to ensure that you're spending time developing content that is truly engaging with your people, because that's really the purpose. And you can stay connected on the go with our mobile app. And this is especially valuable for frontline workers, healthcare workers, or just employees who don't have an email address, to make sure that they're never out of the loop and they always know what's going on with your company and stay connected. Obviously, if you'd like more information about ThoughtFarmer, please visit thoughtfarmer.com. And with that, I am going to hand it over to Caroline, who will be introducing the companies with award-winning intranets.
Awesome. Thank you, Christy. And yes, it's time to get to the meaty part of the presentation here today. We're going to meet our 10 award-winning intranets, 10 ThoughtFarmer customers we want to highlight here today. And we'll start with Société Mavetec, and their intranet is called Mavetec Live, as you can see up here on the screen. Their intranet is really bright and bold and full of personality, is how we'd like to describe it. You can see right away here that the way they have created their intranet with a lot of vibrant colors and design elements on the screen, it's really engaging and eye-catching and drawing employees in right away. You can see here, my favorite is the second screenshot, the COVID area, where they have somehow done this amazing rainbow swivel that is a consistent design element just going through the header, the different thumbnail images on the screen. It's really, really well done. And in the same vein of kind of like that image-rich intranet and that vibrancy, they have a special section or sections on Mavetec Live where staff upload their own personal photography, and again, kind of like a way to foster connection between coworkers on the internet. So really vibrant and image-rich. Another thing Mavetec Live does really well is tying the internet back to their core corporate values. Their mission, their vision, their values are really front and center on their homepage for full transparency and to remind staff every time they log on what Mavetec and Mavetec Live stand for. Next up, we have CAS, and CAS's intranet is really all about community, all about the people. So one thing that CAS has done on their intranet, or a mission they have with their intranet, is to really foster those serendipitous interactions that happen between coworkers, which, pre-pandemic would oftentimes happen in the office, right? You'd run into somebody at the water cooler or the coffee machine and have a bit of a chit chat. So much more difficult these days. So really what they're doing on their intranet is recreating those interactions online through, the pet gallery that they have there. They have different contests on their intranet. They have a recipe page, a who's who in the hallway, all of those things that really foster those connections. There's also, again, much like the previous customer Mavetec, a variety of project and personal spaces for employee to, again, remain connected to one another. And another thing on the flip side, what CAS does, or the CAS Intranet team, is they really keep their finger on the pulse on how things are going with their intranet, right? They look at the reports and the analytics. They take a look and see, okay, how often do staff visit the intranet, and when they're there, how long are they on the site? What are some keywords or search terms that staff search for often, right? So what kind of content do people want from the intranet? And it keeps the intranet team kind of informed on employee behavior and kind of tooled up with the knowledge to know how to improve the intranet even further. Our next winner here, Evo Payments, their intranet is called Evo One. And, as the name already says it, Evo One really is built with the goal to kind of create that sense of unity among staff, which is especially important for an organization like Evo Payments because they are located all over the world, right? They have global offices and a very diverse workforce. And they actually use the intranet. They have a multilingual intranet. It's translated into 7 languages to really meet the needs of that diverse and global workforce. 7 languages. All of the content is there. You can see that up here on the screen and the main news post here. Their internet is really easy to navigate. So they came up with a really user-friendly navigation design, really prominent callouts or links for staff on the homepage to those areas that they need to get their job done, right? Like key resources, key pages. You can see the Evo Corner and career areas on the homepage. And then lastly, one of their teams, and I believe it's the Dublin team or the Dublin department in Evo Payments, they actually built a live chat feature inside of their intranet for their team specifically to connect and communicate on Evo One. So another way that they really kind of like foster that connection and engagement across the business. Stikeman Elliott and Stella. Stella is the name of their intranet. And with Stella, everything is really about fostering diversity and inclusion for staff at Stikeman Elliott. And one thing that Stella, or the team behind Stella, has done is they've really leveraged all of the customization capabilities that come with ThoughtFarmer to really fully make the internet something that works for their organization. So for example, they have a custom card or add-on that they use on Stella called Works With Me. And that functionality is added to their profile pages. You can see it down here on the screen. And it really kind of highlights those really complex reporting structures that you see quite often in legal firms, with multiple people reporting to multiple other people. And it was really important for them to kind of highlight that structure on the internet on people's profile pages. In the same vein of diversity and inclusion, they have another custom app on their profile pages, which we sometimes call Say My Name or Hear My Name. It's a card that allows employees to record the correct pronunciation of their name right there on their profile. So then when staff visits their profile or other staff visits their profile, they're able to click that button and hear the correct pronunciation of their name. And as someone with a horrific last name, I highly, highly empathize with that. I think it's a great little feature to add to the internet. If you are a ThoughtFarmer customer and your interest is piqued by any of these custom add-ons, we do have a custom card marketplace with both of these customizations and many more that you can explore on our community site. So if you're interested and you're not sure where to get that, definitely get in touch after the webinar and we'll lead you there. Next up is Otto, Triumph Bancorp's intranet. Otto is very close to our heart here at ThoughtFarmer. He's, of course, the otter, the mascot extraordinaire of Triumph's intranet. Otto stands for One Team Today. So again, kind of like that unifying idea behind the intranet that kind of brings together the many different business lines that Triumph Bancorp has. He's joined by his partner in crime, Olivia, up here on the left in the blue shirt. And Otto was really chosen as the internet mascot by the Triumph team because he really embodies and signifies some of their core values that go back to happiness and curiosity. We really just love the work that the Triumph team has done with the level of personalization of their mascot, Otto the Otter. If you look, he even has his own profile page. He has, his favorite food is sea urchins. He is a fan of the Missouri River otters. It's just all really well done. And Triumph's intranet is, aside from that level of personalization, they have really done a great job with being really good about communicating important news and information to their staff. So they use features like the broadcast feature to ensure that all of their staff get notified immediately of any critical messages that are sent out. They use the homepage carousel, as you can see up here again, to share those important updates and make sure that the entire team behind Triumph and all of those different business lines are on the same page, are one team today. Capital Region BOCES out of New York. Their internet's called BERT. So we have an otter, we got an owl. Again, a really warm and fuzzy internet mascot. And BERT really is the center for Capital Region's BOCES of many improvement projects that they have going on within the organization. One of them being their employee recognition program, which you can see here up on the screen. So the BOCES team really is really adamant about continuously improving not only the internet, but their business as a whole. And one thing, or how the employee recognition program came about, was after a staff survey that was done a few years ago, where it turned out staff is really generally very happy at Capital Region BOCES, but one piece of feedback that came back was that maybe staff recognition could be better. So based on that feedback, the BOCES team came up with the employee recognition program, and really BERT played a pivotal role in just in the life cycle of that entire program, right? All the way from announcing that it was going to be on the way to really documenting all of the steps needed to, or information around like how do I nominate a coworker, and then of course in the end also sending out those announcements about staff receiving one of those awards, and making sure that everybody knows about it, and that is like a common celebration and some common recognition within the organization. All right, our next intranet is Spark, True Community Credit Union's intranet. And guys, I feel like we do have a bit of an animal theme going on here today, right? We got the otter, we got Bert the owl, and we got Spark the dog. You can see him up there enjoying his daily newspaper in the header of True's intranet. And Spark is really, we said here, making the most of it, making the most of their intranet and the tool that they have at hand. So the Spark team really is taking all of the functionality that is available in ThoughtFarmer and using it in the best possible way to serve their organizational needs. So one thing that's really important for them as a credit union is to really have a central place for staff where you can see right away what is the status of different systems, different banking machines, card machines throughout all of their different branches. And they're doing that right on the homepage. They also have another page. It's not the homepage. It's a specific machine status page that communicates to frontline staff, but really everybody in the organization if there are any issues with local banking machines. So aside from that, they have really done a great job customizing their profile pages, something that we saw there with Stella as well. They added a lot of profile fields or custom profile feeds that allow staff to connect with one another based on similar interest. I see their favorite drink, favorite snacks and candies, but also things like areas of interest or special skills. And one thing we really thought was clever on Spark's profile pages is they have set up a special field where staff can indicate how they prefer to be recognized or how they prefer to receive praise in a public way, in a private way. So we thought that was a really innovative and very inclusive way of creating staff profiles and making sure people are receiving that praise in a way that makes sense for them. All right, and this is where the animal theme ends because now we got a banana. We are here with Operation Smile, and their intranet is called SAM, which is the banana's name, the mascot's name, but it also is, of course, an acronym for Smiles Across Miles, which really ties back to the core value, the core mission of Operation Smile. And they've really, again, much like Spark, they have integrated key business software to just allow their staff to have more easy access to information that before SAM was created was a little harder to find. So again, making sure information is available company-wide in a really easy way. And then one thing that's really important for Operation Smile and something that SAM really delivers for them is really the ability to share stories from the field. I can see that the first screenshot up here is a really good example of that. All of those stories worldwide that come from the field are shared on SAM and are shared with all of the staff, kind of really showcasing the impact of their work on a daily basis. Next up, we have Hachette Book Group, and their intranet is aptly called Bookends. And Bookends really is for Hachette a central spot for staff to come and get any type of information relating to the organization, relating to their job, and what they need to know as an employee of Hachette. You can see there they have, for example, a dedicated COVID area with all the information staff needs to know about the pandemic and what it means for them and their role at Hachette. And it's not just, Bookends is not just a spot for staff to go and read or find information. The Hachette team really is encouraging staff to contribute as well. So it's really a two-way system for them. They provide their staff with all of the tools and the platform, of course, to contribute their own content and collaborate online on Bookends. And again, Hachette is the Hachette team or the Bookends team really takes a look at the analytics to learn about what people want to see on the internet, what their content preferences are to, again, keep continuously improving and making Bookends better. All right. PCI Pub Hub. Last but not least, a really vibrant internet that is all about the people that work at PCI. Uh, Pub Hub, and the homepage is not listed here, but one thing that the team does really well in the vein of full transparency on the Pub Hub homepage, the team posts up-to-date real-time information on any progress the organization is making towards their strategic goals. Really, really transparent with all of their staff. You can see up there in the header as well the 5 circles. Those 5 circles signify each of the 5 core business values or core values that PCI as an organization stands behind. So there's a really big sense of openness and transparency with their staff that comes through PubHub. And many other areas on PubHub are really all about celebrating their people, celebrating their staff, and their uniqueness that they bring to the table. The associate marketplace is a really great example of that. It's an area on PubHub where staff can sort of promote their side hustle if they have any, right? So we got some staff here that some of them are photographers on the side. Maybe somebody has a little food business, or as you can see, a stitch culture craft business on the side. And the internet is a way for them to kind of showcase that and share it with their staff. And there's many other areas really that celebrate people on PubHub as well. So a really warm and vibrant intranet. Those were our 10 award-winning intranets. So let's talk, Christy kind of hinted at that at the beginning of our webinar, but how can you make the list, right? Like what are some tips and tricks and things to think about? So we kind of made a little bit of a summary here, some best practices that I would quickly run you through. The first one really is make sure that you have an opportunity to really use the internet as a platform to showcase your brand and your organization's culture. It'll make staff really resonate with the internet when they come along and log on there, and it'll be a familiar place for them. The second one, kind of, we talked about that in a few of the examples. Consider your audience, right? Your staff are, of course, your main audience, and promote your internet internally. This is something that we often talk to with customers. A lot of energy usually goes into an intranet's launch and promoting that new internet that comes across, but the promoting really doesn't end at launch. It's something you have to work on continuously to keep showing staff what the value is of the internet and how it makes their lives and their work better. And so that is something to just keep front of mind at all times. And tied into that, of course, the third item here is really leveraging those analytics, right? Like taking a look on behind the scenes and kind of get an insight into, what are the areas that people are most interested in? How often do people visit? What information are people searching for? Making sure that the internet has the content people need, and also ensuring that content is well organized, easy to find, and remains relevant for staff. Leveraging forms and workflows to improve business processes. This is a big one. If you are a ThoughtFarmer customer, we of course have FormFlow. That is a great way. If you have any paper forms lying around in your organization, let's collectively save a tree and just or make those business processes digital and adding them onto the internet. Again, having that one-stop shop for people to do those kinds of tasks and forms as part of the internet platform is a great way to increase adoption and make your staff's life easier. In terms of the last 2 bullet points here, all about creating engagement with all of your staff, making sure that people have all of the information they need, right? So features like the broadcast feature, required reading, as well as a mobile app, allows everybody to be on the same page, even those workers that might not be in the office and in front of a computer. So if you have a lot of field workers, of people out that are not in front of a computer, the mobile app is a really great way to ensure that even those coworkers are completely up to date and connected, even when they're on the go. if you're watching this presentation, like, great, so many great ideas. I want to make my internet better, but where do I even start? If you ever need help, the ThoughtFarmer team does have professional services that we have a professional services squad team here, and we've helped many, many customers not only launch their internet, but also just revise and take a look at an internet that's a little bit further along the way, and optimizing it, making sure it still is on the right path. Anything from working with you on making sure the content is really relevant and up to date, but also working all around things like engagement, making sure people are know about the internet, know what it is there for, and know how it provides value and makes their life better. Um, if you need help and would like to talk to us, definitely send us an email, give us a call, and we'll be more than happy to chat to see what we can do for you. And this is how you can get in touch with us. You can, of course, visit our website, thoughtfarmer.com, or get in touch via email at either engage@thoughtfarmer.com or support@thoughtfarmer.com if you are a current customer wishing to talk to our support team. And with that, I think we are at the time for questions. Christy, I'm going to hand it back over to you there to see if we do have any questions we want to review.
Yeah, thank you so much, Caroline. That was great. We do have a few questions that came in through both the chat and the Q&A function. If anyone does have questions, please feel free to stick them in. It's not too late. So let's really great question here that I'm sure a lot of attendees might be wondering. Curious about the approximate timelines involved, I assume with implementation of an intranet. How long did the majority of these intranets take to deploy and design? Is there a way to make this faster?
Yeah, that's a really good question, and definitely one that we hear a lot, both from new and existing customer. Unfortunately, don't have a clear-cut answer for you there. It really depends on a lot of different factors, right? Like if you currently have an intranet and you want to optimize it, what's the state of it, right? Like, or what are you aiming for? What is your desired state for a redesigned intranet? What's your budget? What's your timeline? How many people do you have available? Um, so yeah, simple redesigns can usually be done quickly for sure, especially with an out-of-the-box internet solution like ThoughtFarmer. But more projects that are more complex, they tend to take a little longer. Like SharePoint is usually something that requires a little bit more massaging. If I had to give a number, I would say a couple of months is typically what we see. Some people are able to really rally behind everything and get things done in a month or 6 weeks. Others tend to take more around the 3 to 4 month length. So yeah, the answer, short and sweet, is it depends, unfortunately.
That's great. Another question. So does the mobile app work for on-prem instances?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you are a ThoughtFarmer customer and you you host ThoughtFarmer on your own environment, absolutely, you can still use the mobile app and roll it out to all of your staff. As long as it is available from on the internet, you can have your staff download it on their phone and use it on the go. Yeah.
That's great. Another question around success metrics. So what is the success story you've seen using analytics to make improvements?
Ooh, that is a good question. I mean, I think anything like we talked about there earlier in some of the examples, I think the Capital Region BOCES one was a really good one, where they used a combination of a staff survey. So kind of a staff survey that was really not that much about the internet, but sort of more about like general sentiments around the organization, and it allowed them to kind of work on that employee recognition program. And what they did along the way was really measure on the internet the success of their employee recognition program, right? So like we saw, they had the entire hub for that program on the internet, and along the way measuring and seeing how people consume that information, how often they go there, what keywords they use to find it, really helped them kind of like tweak the program along the way and ensure that it had the biggest impact possible. So I would say if you are an internet manager, or if you are in charge of the internet, um, analytics are just such a helpful tool to ensure that mostly around content, that you are aware of what information staff is needing from the internet, or even which links or types of tools they need on the internet, ensuring it's there. And just it's something that you want to do on a continuous basis, because those needs are ever changing and the content they need is ever changing as well.
Great. Another question. So we're considering redesigning our intranet, but not sure where to start. Help.
Yeah, luckily we are here. We are here to help you out with that. We've helped many customers redesign their internet or design their internet from scratch. So if you're a little lost and not sure where to start, well, whether you are a ThoughtFarmer customer or not, definitely I would encourage you to get in touch and talk with our professional services team here. We have probably a lot of answers, and can relieve some of that anxiety on how to get started, and talk about how we can be there to help you along the way. So yeah, give us a call.
Great. And one last question I think we have time for. How do you set a vision for an intranet redesign and get everyone on board?
Yeah, that's a really good question. It's usually good to, before you even start talking about a final design for the internet, we usually talk to customers and recommend getting everybody to agree on a set of principles for the internet, right? Kind of like an agreed upon set of criteria that describes how the outcome should be, what you want the internet to solve for. And once you can agree on sort of like those goals, and how you can see the internet be successful, which goals it can achieve, that will make it a lot easier to take a look at potential solutions objectively, and kind of like help you define a vision for it.
That's great. One last question. So our IS leadership team is very hands-on and has an internal methodology. With being a financial institution, security is always front of mind. What suggestions would you give to help in creating a path of adoption? Great question.
There's a lot to unpack there. So security is for sure something that is on a lot of people's minds, right? It's something that is usually something to talk about at the very beginning, and making sure that whatever solution you go for kind of fills that need. And for what it's worth, if you're thinking about ThoughtFarmer, we have a lot of answers there for you. The second question, I believe, sorry, Christy, was more around how to think about staff adoption and engagement,
Yes,
and
security adoption engagement. Yeah.
security adoption and engagement. Okay. Um, Yeah, I feel like that's probably something that would warrant a longer conversation. Adoption and engagement is a really big topic. I think we've seen a lot of great examples here today, but it really usually depends on sort of what your goals are with the internet, what kind of what things you want to achieve in terms of how your staff uses it. So I feel like it's probably a longer conversation than I can cover in the next few minutes. We're happy to follow up with you one-on-one after the webinar to continue that conversation, though.
Great. And I think that's a wrap. Caroline, is there anything else you wanted to mention?
I don't think so. I would again say congratulations to, if any of our award-winning intranets are online here today, I would tell them like great job and congrats again. And other than that, I'd just like to thank everyone for making the time to listen to our webinar here today.
Yes, thank you so much, everyone. We'll be sending out a recording tomorrow, and we look forward to seeing you at our next session. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.